Hello my fellow Trials Warlords. In today's video we're going to be going over my loadouts that I'll be using in the Trials of Osiris this season. I was holding off on making a video about this because I actually wanted to play Trials, see what the new meta was, so I would be more confident in what I would actually be using or telling you guys what I'm using. And this week of endlessly getting milked farming for the Immortal gave me some really good insight. So let us begin. Alrighty, and to start the build video off, I think we're going to start with Titan, and I think it goes without saying that Titan is probably the best class in the game right now, without a doubt. It's crazy how good it's been for as long as it's been, and we're going with the PKs and SMG shotgun. That's one of the builds, and also I have grenade kickstart and stuff like that, and abilities, you know, towering barricade, catapult jump. This is actually, by the way, for Arc Titan, do not use Spark of Resistance because it doesn't really work anymore. I'd really recommend Spark of Recharge, or there's another one. Recharge is the one that I recommend, or Spark of Haste. I would definitely pick between these two, but I highly recommend using these fragments for stat distribution. But I personally like Spark of Recharge to give me that higher grenade cooldown and melee ability cooldown when I do get weak, because it does happen. But this is one of my builds for Arc Titan with Kilos, but this was made before the Immortal release, so I have builds with the Immortal now because I enjoy the Immortal more. It has a lower time to kill. It's like a 5.6 time to kill, whereas Kilos is a 6.7. Obviously standard stuff, you know, I have targeting mods, like I said, dexterity, grenade kickstart, lynching, and then stuff for when I pick up orbs. And I do have Reaper as well. The Reaper mod is a very, very good mod, and I recommend you at least have one. And I actually have some synergy with Font of Focus mods on my other builds for the Titan. So this next one is with No Time and Dune Marchers, and I don't take advantage of the Font of Focus. It's, you know, pretty much the same thing, but with Dune Marchers, so I can, you know, get more mobility, I guess, because I don't have peak. I'm not using an SMG, so there's not really any need for PKs. Also, keep in mind, I do have weapons in my other inventory slots that I can swap to. Like, I have an SMG, sidearm, Wither Horde, shotgun, you know, pretty much everything for every situation. And then on to my pretty much main Trials build that I used last weekend to drop like a 4.0 KD, which was this build. And it's the Immortal. Here's my God Roll Immortal, or my 4 to 5 Immortal. It has a reload Masterwork pane. And then my God Roll Matador, which is just a God Roll, no matter what. It's just the GOAT of this thing. And my God Roll Roar the Bear. It could be a little bit better, I think, if I had cluster bombs there, but that's, like I said, really good roll. And then I went with arc targeting, and I'm able to put like ashes to assets because of the artifact mod. It allows you to make Shran mods cost less. So since I'm using a Shran weapon, I'm able to spec into, or like get increased super energy on grenade kills, which on the Javelin week actually was happening quite a bit. So, and I think, let me see something. I might even be able to fit something else. No, I can't. There's nothing that really costs 2 energy that's really good, so never mind. But, and then on the gauntlets, I have like Font of Focus, which gives you increased discipline when you pick up armor charges. And I am genning a lot of orbs with Reaper. So you get basically how the font mods work is you, for the first stack, the first armor charge, get 30, let's say in the case of Font of Focus, you get 30 discipline. So that brings my discipline to 92. And then if I pick up 2, that's 50. And that brings my discipline to obviously 100. It caps at 100. So that's a very useful thing to be using to get my grenade back. And then I also have Spark of Recharge, and then I also have, you know, 60 discipline. So, and I use lightning grenades personally on this build. I had a lot of success with this build on the Javelin 4 weekend. And then another build is basically the same thing. It's just a Bubble Titan version of it for like zone trials, because Bubble Titan can be pretty strong in zone trials. And I'm not really going to go too deep into this because it's literally the same thing in terms of armor. It's just different subclass. So, and then here, this is actually like a cheater build. The armor is all fucked. Don't pay attention to that, but this is for playing against cheaters because Antaeus Juggernaut Titan, well, it should be Antaeus, or it should be Juggernaut instead of that. But in Juggernaut and Knockout with Antaeus against cheaters is really good. And I did play some cheaters last weekend, and I did use this build against them, and it worked really well. So those are my builds for Trials. You know, I have the PKs, the Dunes, and the Antaeus. Those are all like really good. Antaeus is actually probably going to become meta later this season, so I'd make sure to keep an eye out for that. But this is the Titan portion of the loadouts. Now we're going to move on to the Hunter, which I don't see myself playing too much, but I probably will heal some, whereas Warlock, I'm not even going to touch on Warlock because there's no way that I'm playing Warlock under any circumstance. Titan and Hunter is always going to be better. And if you're trying to play what's best, I recommend you guys do the same. Alright fellas, moving on to the Hunter, and we are going to start with Stasis Hunter. This is my favorite class to play Hunter on currently at the moment. I currently have an SMG and Matador equipped, but sometimes I'll put on Yasmin and Ikilos. I'm probably going to be putting on, if I am going to snipe, it'll probably be the Immortal and then the Beloved, and I have targeting mods. I will have targeting mods for those corresponding weapons, and then like Grenade Kickstart, because Dust Fields, even though they are, what is their cooldown? I don't even remember exactly. It's a minute and 31 base. They've been nerfed quite a bit, so they're not as good, and this build isn't as good as it was before, but it's still viable, and this is probably my go-to Hunter build because I'm able to use Stompies. But, I mean, Stompies are just not that great right now. They are going to, I think, get buffed, kind of, near future. So, and move on to the Omnioculi. This is back in the meta, back on the menu for you Omnioculus lovers. I personally am not, and this is honestly not something that I probably will use, but it is in my loadouts just in case I find myself wanting to use it. And this is the build that I went with. It's not, it's more for just being able to get invisibility more than anything, rather than like the resist like it was prior, because prior to now, the resist and Omnioculus was crazy, and you kind of wanted to use it for that resist. I'm not really too worried about that. At least I don't think that's what you want to spec into, but I could be wrong. I haven't used it. I just kind of put it here to have it here. And then on to the Spine Trip Mine build. So this is my Spine Trip Mine build. This is probably the next best thing compared to Stasis Hunter, because Strand Hunter is horrible. I am going to make a video on it, but it's been hard for me because it's like I could make a video on it and make a build, but it's like, is it good? Is it competitively viable? No. But if you want to have fun, yeah, I guess, kind of, maybe, I don't know. But I would highly rate for Hunter the Trip Mine build and the Stasis Hunter build. Those are both like top tier builds that if I am playing Hunter, I will probably use. The thing is I don't typically play Hunter because, I mean, I'm typically playing with like Gold or Jake, and they play Hunter or Warlock, so I end up having to play Titan because they're not. So I probably won't find myself using this. Currently I have Fractithis and Igneous Hammer on, but I'd probably swap to like Immortal and a Matador, or No Time to Explain in the Matador, or, you know, maybe the Cromil's Dagger in the Matador, or, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So that's it for this one. And then I do have an Arc Hunter build too, but, you know, I will never be using this because Arc Hunter is horrible, unfortunately, in PvP. I think Arc Hunter is like actually the worst class for PvP, right next to Strand. I think Arc and Strand are like the most useless classes right now, unfortunately. At least in the Trials of Osiris, their super cooldowns are too long, and their abilities are like kind of nice, but it's just, you need to have a lower super cooldown to be competitive in Trials at the top end, and I play at the top end for the most part. Like, I'm playing against good players, so you're gonna want to not be on this build. So, but I did make an Arc Hunter build if I felt like I wanted to, or if I could. But, you know, I would highly recommend sticking with Stasis Hunter or Solar Hunter this season. If you're on Titan, I would stick with Arc Titan or Void Titan. I would not play Warlock, and I would not play Solar Titan or Strand Titan or Stasis Titan. And if you're on Hunter, I would play everything but Arc and Strand, personally. Those are my recommendations. These are my loadouts going into this season. Once again, just to repeat it, keep in mind the weapons that I have on. I always have weapons in my slot, or in my other slots, that I can swap to just in case I feel like I need it. So don't pay too much attention to the weapons and stuff. But it's mainly just the armor, the stat distribution, the armor. So anyway, we will end the video there. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as it helps out the channel a ton. Also, subs are greatly appreciated because as of right now, 57% of my viewers are not subbed to the channel. In addition, if you'd like to come say hi to me live, I stream over on Twitch pretty much every day. And if you're looking to get into contact with me, I've got a Twitter, and I'm very active with it. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.